Kia ora, good morning. It is a busy day ahead for the Advanced New Zealand team today, I tell you. We are going for it. And as always, we wake up to an ever-changing landscape in the government's response to COVID-19. We are very delighted that tonight at 7 o'clock we're going to be releasing our COVID-19 policy and strategy. As we can see, it's always easy to criticise from the side of the playing field and without ever offering any solutions. So we now have solutions. We have practical solutions. We have conferred and sought advice from medical experts, American ones, New Zealand ones, and we've also done a lot of research that's gone into it. We've had an entire team dedicated to refining our position and our policy for COVID-19 management, because we believe that this government has got it terribly, terribly wrong. This is not about conspiracy. This is not about creating panic. In fact, what we want to do is try and bring order instead of the fear and the panic that this government is sending out there, and that's what's driving people insane out there. It's what's driving people to feel sick, unwell, scared. It's terrible what the government is doing, and so we don't actually care what mainstream media have to say about us, because we will ask the questions that need to be asked. We believe that there are some serious concerns emanating from the way that this government has managed the COVID-19 crisis. I mean, I personally have my beliefs as to why they're doing it, but let's stay with facts and what we know. We do know that the government is completely mismanaging this crisis and creating fear. It doesn't even have, in our opinion, the testing units that they need to do a good job. Now, what we did do this morning, we looked at the Ministry of Health's website, and it's full of misinformation as far as we are concerned from what we've seen and studied. But one of the interesting things is that they've finally admitted that these are 4.5%, listen to this, 4% chance that they're going to get diagnosis wrong. Let me say that again. They've now admitted that the tests they're using are 4% likely to be wrong. Okay, so we say it's much, much higher than that. But that is a big backpedal from the government to actually get around to actually admitting that, because what we say is if there's any chance that there's testing equipment that can misdiagnose people, that's terrible. It's got to be removed and something more sure than that's put in. And now the government's backpedaling and saying that there's 4+% chance that they're going to get it wrong, and that's 4% too high, because when you look at it, it said that we had 1,800 cases in the last lockdown. We had 26 deaths, and that's very, 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 very low with the so-called high lethality virus as this. But what's happened in terms of lethality, it's also come out very, very clearly around the world, including the Centre for Disease Control and even the WHO are now saying that the lethality of the disease is much, 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 they're admitting it now, much lower than what we were originally told. Now, I was reading a press release from someone last night. It was quite an old one, but it was tied into a chat. And they were saying that the Prime Minister had announced when this came out that if we didn't act, or that we were likely to have between 8,000 and 25,000 deaths. Well, no, we've had 26 deaths of people that were unwell and elderly. And so we need to ask questions around the management of this. That's what we're saying. We're not wanting to at all step onto the grounds of conspiracy language. We are about facts, and it's a fact that we have some serious questions. So what we're doing tonight, guys, we are announcing our COVID-19 policy, and I'm very, very proud of it, and so proud of the team that we've got that's put that together. Also, woke up this morning to see another press release put out through stuff.co.nz. And it was information and commentary about what Hipkins, the Minister of Health, is saying, and Ashley Bloomfield, who I don't trust as far as I could kick him across this room. They're saying now, listen to this, that there may need to be a new level discussed, 1.5. 1.5. So no longer is it level 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's now, they're looking at creating a 1.5 level. It's just getting bizarre. It really is. It's getting bizarre the way that these guys are behaving. But also what Bloomfield was saying is that there is a chance that we can catch a virus through international cargo. Now, I don't know about you, but I always thought that viruses need to live on a human body to survive. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I have read information where it says that viruses need to live on a human body to be able to survive, and that if they don't live on a body, that this particular virus has about a lifespan of about 12 hours. So I just want to put it to you that if a piece of cargo is coming from the United States, China, or from Europe or wherever, and if it came into contact with the virus back then, it's not going to live after 12 hours. And so I'd like to again ask Dr. Bloomfield to explain how a virus, if shipped from overseas, can survive longer than 12 hours on a package. I want that explained really clearly, because that's what they're doing. They're ramping up the fear out there. So international cargo, probably from China. Yeah, it could come from anyone, guys. So, let's just say that any freight that comes from anywhere longer than further than a 12-hour journey, that's got serious questions about how any virus would survive that. Okay, moving on. Right, the other thing that we're going to do as well, which is really important, and it's going to nail all those trolls and slammers out there. We are creating a frequently asked questions COVID-19 page on our website. So I've just come off a lengthy Zoom meeting with my team, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a page up where you can go to, and you can provide people really solid factual answers using plenty of medical source referencing to back up what you say, because that's really, really important. People can't argue with the experts. They can argue with me. I admit I'm not an expert, but they can't argue with Professor John Lionalis from Stanford University, and they can't argue with the Plan B COVID-19 team, who are epidemiologists and experts in that particular area. So what we're going to do is that we're going to create this page so that you can go to it and just absolutely make sure that you're getting all the facts, not just from what's been fed to us by mainstream media on behalf of government, because it's not trustworthy. Let's call it as it is. So we're going to be working on that today. We're looking at the content for that, and we're going to transfer most of our policy into that page, because that's going to answer a lot of the questions as well. Right, okay, here's some interesting stuff. Now, there's a claim that, and it makes me giggle to say this, that I'm a white supremacist, which is hilarious. So I just, I find that it's almost laughable. But I want to say that I'm not a black supremacist, I'm not a brown supremacist or white supremacist. I'm a God supremacist. That's what I am. But the claim is amazing that we have people claiming that I'm a white supremacist. I think that's bizarre. I think everybody knows my stance on that. And you know what? We just had someone say, vote Labour. To that person, respectfully, if you vote Labour, you're voting for real, serious, hard times. I want to say to any Labour voter out there, wake up. Wake up to what this government is doing to you. Wake up to what this government is doing to our community. Wake up to what this government is doing to our freedoms. Wake up to what this government is doing to our economy. Wake up to how this government is mismanaging this crisis. I think all of us, all New Zealanders that aren't awake to this, need to slowly but surely wake up to it before we lose our country. So anyway, back to my topic. So white supremacist, I am not, and of course I am proudly standing for the Māori Sira Te Tai Tokiro, and that means all the world to me that I serve our people up here, because we've been neglected by the MPs that have been up here. All the promises that they make, all the promises that politicians normally make, that's why I don't like them. They very, very seldom deliver on it, and I'm tired of it. The other thing as well, there's been a so-called media commentator. He's a Māori gentleman. He sits on the Māori Council. I don't think he's ever delivered anything for anyone in his life, this gentleman, but he has been selling and dirtying the name of the Māori Battalion, and I want to call him up. I'm an ex-New Zealand soldier. My own whānau and ancestors served in the Māori Battalion during World War II, and my business partner as well, he serves in the Te Tai Tokiro Māori Battalion whānau committee, and I take great exception to anyone dirtying the name of the Māori Battalion. And always remember too that the Māori Battalion was made up of iwi from all around the country, but also made up of Pacific Island whānau from Niue, from the Cook Islands, from Samoa, from all over the show. They joined the Māori Battalion and they fought, and I want to honour those soldiers that did that, because anyone that is going to put down the Māori battalion needs their head read. And this man that's done that, that's a scumbag thing to do. I'm going to call him out. And I also want to talk about other things to do with Māoridom, because this gentleman, he's an executive on the Māori Council, and I want to say to the Māori Council right here and now, including so-called Indigenous rights advocates that support this government, wake up. Our people, Māori people, are still the leading statistics in all of the bad statistics that you can think of. We have the worst of health. We live in the worst conditions, along with our Pacifica family. We have drug issues that aren't being talked about. This guy also apparently had something to do with suicide. Well, he's failing at that job as well. Look at this idiot. He's this idiot. Lee Tahitirangi Clark, why don't you just go and take a break, eh? Take a break. And if you vote Labour, you're as big a fool as I think you are, because that's what needs to be said now. We actually need to call it the way it is. But I want to have a go at these Māori Council people, because our people aren't being served. And if I get into government, I'm going to be looking at all of these types of committees that are meant to serve our people, because they're failing. Suicide is still massive amongst our community. Up here in Northland, we lose young people all the time. And, as our brother Mike King has said, suicide has not been dealt with and it's not being solved, and we need to help whānau be supported so they don't make these decisions. I was deeply disturbed yesterday to receive a letter from my mother, who was so concerned about being forced vaccinated that she's talking about a suicide pact with her whānau, and that's absolutely heartbreaking. And we need to help families that feel like that and provide them with hope. We need to we need to deal with this. And all these so-called Māori that get paid so well to be on these councils are doing nothing for our people, and I'm calling it out. It's about time somebody did. And people that work in these advocacy groups that go to the United Nations, these United Nations programs that they're willing to support will rob us of our freedoms here in New Zealand. Yes, I'm calling that out as well. I think it's really important that we do this. It's no time to muck around anymore. It's time that honest language is used, straight up front language is used, because I get it levelled at me all the time, people making all sorts of claims and accusations. Well, it's coming back at you guys. And I think when you get silly people like this guy from the Māori Council, and who says that he's a self-appointed commentator, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. And to have a go at the Māori Battalion and some of the leading men that were involved with that is just heartbreaking, and it's disgusting, and it's a disgrace. Anyway, moving on from that, just an interesting couple of things. I had a father ring me before to say that in his daughter's high school, they're now starting to do, listen to this, lessons about conspiracy theorists and conspiracy theory studies. So this is indoctrination of the highest order. You see, once upon a time in Aotearoa, New Zealand, if you were someone who was a critical thinker, you were applauded, you were looked up to, and if you asked the serious questions, the community admired you. But not now. Why? Because they've now turned a critical thinker and relabelled us as conspiracy theorists, and that's as much a psychological operation as anything that we've seen. So that's what they're starting to do in high schools. So I'm calling out North Canterbury High School is now starting to do studies on conspiracy theory studies. And so we need to ask, okay, schools, what side of the argument are you looking at here? Because we need to teach our kids to be critical thinkers. That's what education should be. That we ask our children to study, to question things, to learn, to expand their minds, to be open to new ideas, but to always question the narrative before they swallow anything. And that's what good parenting is about. That's what good education is about. All right, event today. I'm doing an event today in the square in Whangarei. No mai hara mai, ki te tautoko e te kaupapa mea nui. Come and support this awesome event with my Te Tai Tokiro team and I in the square in Whangarei today between 12 and 1. Okay, and there's going to be dancing and stuff. We're going to make sure that everybody is safe. So we're going to have we're going to have hand sanitizer and all that stuff, and we're going to make sure that everybody is kept safe there. So please come down if you're not doing anything to support. I'm going to be talking more about what we stand for and sharing that out. And it's time that all of us, regardless of party persuasion, regardless of just anything that people use to divide us, political parties, race, religion, all that stuff. None of that matters anymore. We need to come together as one unit and ask the government to be accountable, to make them accountable, to ask the tough questions, to find out the truth. Because at the moment, we're dealing with a government that is just driving fear out there, getting us into debt, destroying lives and incomes and businesses, destroying our rights and freedoms, and we cannot just take that without having a strong mechanism to question. We're that mechanism for you guys out there. Advance New Zealand Public Party. We are that mechanism. People can call us what they want, but we are the only mechanism that are asking the tough questions and being a voice for the people. And that's all that concerns me, is that the voice of the people is heard and that the questions we have are answered. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that there. I will hopefully come back around midday to do a live broadcast from the meeting, and hope with all my heart that you have a great day. Take care of you. Please help people if they need it. Please talk to people if they ring you and need encouragement and assurance. And yes, my phone is going bananas since I announced it yesterday, but I appreciate all the calls and I'm working through all of them. So God bless you all. Take care, and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Kia ora.
Kia ora everybody, this is a live one from Whangarei, and I won't get you guys. And we had an awesome crowd turn up today to support us. We're down here in Whangarei, and it's just awesome. We had an exceptional dance crew open up for us today. Young people of Whangarei that are standing behind me. Let's see if we can get a shot there. Yep. And we had loads of people come out today to support us. Just incredible. Just, lots of people. Just amazing. People that are scared to be seen, to be heard. And what we've had here today in Whangarei is a good illustration that people are waking up. People are wanting to ask questions. People are deeply concerned. I'm just walking around some people and just going, hey, all right. And this is awesome. I got an opportunity today to speak on the town square, and normally they arrest people and fine you for doing that, and it was just awesome. We've given out heaps of our flyers. I've talked about what I will do as the candidate, as the MP for Te Tai Tokerau, which is to get our economy up here moving, get our whānau in houses, abolish oranga tamariki, and get real jobs and movement up here. It's just so important. It really is. And on top of that, from the Advance New Zealand side, we've got so many supporters, man. I tell you what, I'm deeply humbled by it. It's just awesome. We've got great people like these guys here. This man is a very smart digital specialist. We've got Chris Weteri here. He's our candidate for Whangarei, and we've got smart people asking all the right questions and saying, hey, look, Billy, we support you, we support the kaupapa, and let's go all the way to Parliament and let's fix this thing up. So guys, just a quick one. I'm going to be on the Vinnie Eastwood show in about 15 minutes, and so I'll see you there, and we'll be able to cover off a lot more stuff there. But people are waking up across New Zealand, and people are asking the right questions. Advance New Zealand are going to be making sure that you have a party with backbone that's going to keep any government accountable. Guys, I'll see you in a few minutes when we cross live to do the broadcast today on TK's Tuesdays with the Vinnie Eastwood show. See you guys then. Kia ora.
Okay, kia ora everyone. Apology for my ranting this morning. We had a very tough morning dealing with some urgent things in terms of people in crisis that we deal with. And one of the hard things I do have to deal with, I was talking about this with my wife earlier, is hearing everybody's māmai, their hurts, their distresses, their sadness, their anger and everything, and sometimes it gets the better of me. So I'd like to apologise to you all for losing my temper this morning with some of the trolls that come on. That's not normally how I operate, and but I am human, and sometimes it's it comes out somewhere, I guess, and it did like that. So my standards as a Christian need to be higher, and I need to take the humble ground, and so just want to let you know that I'll make sure that my behaviour is moderate from here on in. Okay, so anyway, look, we've had such a proud event tonight. We have announced our COVID-19 policy. The full policy will be available on our website, nzpp.org.nz, and we're very proud of it. We really are. We've had doctors review it and look at it. We've had all sorts of policy specialists look at it, and it's just awesome. So I just hands up, and thanks to to the team that put that together. I wrote some of the basics towards it. Jamie Lee contributed to it, and then Jamie Lee and Michael Flo and Damon were up till 1:30 this morning, finishing it after workshopping it with our team. And we've got a really, really good process how we do that, and I'm really, really proud of the team for doing that. And I had a very, very highly respected doctor review our policy, and she's given it the thumbs up and said that it's a very, very good document. So I'm hoping that it'll inform you too about our concerns about the way the government are handling this COVID-19 crisis. As we always say, number one is community health and safety, making sure that our whānau are being taken care of, but there are a wide number of issues involved in keeping our whānau safe, and we believe that the government isn't doing a good job in managing that and ensuring that. And there's some really basic things that we've addressed in our policy that I believe will show you guys that we know what we're doing when we assess the crisis response management style of the government, because we think it's wrong. We think that they are far overreaching. We feel that they're overreacting. We feel that they're using faulty, out-of-date data. We don't believe that the testing equipment they use is the right testing equipment. And more importantly than that, we believe that we need an independent, people's appointed medical team and scientific team to re-canvass all of the issues involved in this COVID-19 crisis, so that we know that the information that is being used and the decisions being made by this government are based on real-time, real facts. And that's so important. Why? Because this government is destroying our economy, is incredibly distressing people out there. The amount of people I'm hearing from, that are just, like my whānau and I, we get worried about what we're seeing, and the whole country is just getting this fear COVID-19 death story, and it's not based on science. And we want to be very clear about that. This is not a conspiracy theory. We've got information from the World Health Organization's own website. We've got information from the Centre for Disease Control and Prevention's own website, where they have now completely backpedaled and said that there's no way that this virus is as lethal as they first announced way back when it first came out. But our government hasn't responded to it. It's refusing to acknowledge that information exists. We have the New Zealand epidemiology team under Professor Simon Thornley, who say that the virus is between, I think it was 0.5% around there, lethal, which they said in another testing assessment and analysis sort of structure, they say those numbers would actually drop. So the COVID Plan B.co.nz team is well worth looking at under Professor Simon Thornley of Auckland University, and we want to encourage people to go and have a look at it, because it ties in with the information that we've been reading everywhere that says that our government have got it terribly wrong, and that's not conspiracy, that's fact, my dear friends out there. So please go and check out our policy on COVID-19. It's going to be online tonight. We've emailed it out to a whole bunch of people, and as part of our Freedom Fighters network list. So if you haven't joined freedomfighters.co.nz, please sign up now. That way we can send you information as soon as we get it through this network, and we know that you'll get it safely. Other policies as well that we're working on include agricultural farming, housing, health, natural health, environmentalism, you name it, business and economics. We've got it. So, stand by, guys, and just remember that that Labor hasn't announced their policies. They haven't, National hasn't really gone out there announcing anything different, and so we're doing very well for a 4-week-old merger and 8-week-old party. And I'm proud to say, in a humble way, that we've achieved more in 8 weeks than many minor parties or parties have ever done in the same time in New Zealand political history. And that's not down just to me, that's because of you guys out there, that's because of the great team that I have behind me, and the fact that I believe that God's behind this movement as well, and that's really, really important. Also, I want to point out that I'm going to probably, if I can get some spare time in the next couple of days, I'm going to do an online lecture at night just to canvass the Freemason topic, because I want people to be very, very clear. My party director, Michael Stace, is no Freemason. He worked for them for 3 years as a marketing manager and was a low-level member of the club. And we've exposed it, we've been upfront about it, we've explained it. It was a job for him. And like all people that sometimes join these types of organisations, like I was a member of the Army, like I was a member of the Royal Rangers when I was a kid, sometimes it takes good people like that to understand what these organisations are about, so that we can figure them out and disarm any access to harm that they can do to us as a country. And we know that there's some issues around there. We know that some of it's nefarious, but I do want to point out that most people involved in Freemasonry below the 30th degree, they are just ordinary folks and they don't know what they're involved with. So what I want to do is I want to do a bit of a quick study / lecture on Freemasonry in the next couple of days, hopefully. If not, I'll try and get it done during the weekend, and that's going to be a humdinger because it's something that I've looked at for a long time. One of my favourite lecturers, Professor Walter Wythe from South Africa, has done major lectures on it, and he's a fantastic guy. If you don't know about Professor Walter Wythe, please check him out, because he's an amazing professor, lecturer on these types of topics, and he's a fine Christian gentleman as well. So he's well worth looking at. What else? Okay, guys, all our candidates across this country of ours are working hard, getting set up to do their campaigns. Please support them if you see advanced New Zealand candidates around the place. They are wonderful people. They care deeply about our country, and they're working for you very, very hard. These candidates, you know, no one's getting paid here. No one's earning money yet from being involved in this, and you know, it's really, really important that you guys know your candidates that we're putting up, because they're all great people and they would love to hear from you. We've got them all over the country. We've got 50 candidates, and you know, it's awesome, and they're all there to see you. So what we're going to do also on our page is that we're going to, as I said last night, we're going to set up a COVID-19 frequently asked questions page so that you can go straight into it. Our policy will be attached to it. And also we're going to send up a candidates page so that you know who's who in the zoo in your local area that you can reach out to that are advanced New Zealand candidates. Also, a big shout out to Alana and her amazing dancing team today that helped bring some life to our little Whangarei town square announcement, I guess, that I did today. And it was really awesome. It was a cold and blistery day, and a number of people came out and had a listen, and we gave out heaps of flyers and brochures and met lots of people. And you know what, it's an amazing opportunity to get amongst it. Yep. And there was one guy who thought that we needed to listen to the scientists in the US, and but unfortunately, you know, when you get in a situation like that, you actually want to spend some time with them and talk to them, because the information that we are using is from the US, is from the best of New Zealand scientists, and is fact-based assessment. It's not conjecture, and it's not mainstream media driven, which drives fear and all that. But the great thing is about democracy is that we should be able to have that honest conversation. If we disagree with each other politely, respectfully, and carry on. That's what democracy is about. But unfortunately, I believe that this government, you know, with the introduction of Tracy Martin's bill, Tracy Martin from New Zealand First, she introduced the internet censoring bill, which if the government doesn't like what you say, they just close you down, or they inform their state services television not to report on anything that's negative to the COVID-19 story of the government or negative about the government. So if you're wondering why you haven't seen more of us on TV, it's probably because they've been told not to have people like us on media that ask the serious questions and want to hold the government accountable to the story and the narrative that they have out there that isn't based on medical facts. Now, always remember, whānau, if you feel unwell, if you feel like you've come into any type of contact with COVID-19, please go and see your doctor. Don't muck around with it, especially if you're sick and you're elderly. Don't muck around with it. But we do believe that this virus is like any other flu virus. That if you're sick and if you are elderly and you have comorbid illnesses that if paired up with this will kill you, please be careful. Please get checked out there. Number one, you know, stay calm and go and get tested and get looked at so that you're safe. All right, guys, so I just want to leave it there. I've got plenty of work to do. We've still got some more Zooms late tonight, but I'm going to try and get in a quick movie with my whānau now. And just want to wish you all, just stay calm out there. If you get distressed, please speak to people. Please, please share your anxiety. People, talk to people. Those of you that need help, please reach out to others in your neighbourhood, in your community. There are some wonderful New Zealanders out there, and I'm meeting a lot of them. And people care about each other in this country, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. I had my children out with me at the event that we did today, and my tamariki were running around and having a good laugh and meeting other kids, and it's just awesome. This is why this movement's so important. I'm not doing it for myself. There's no ego of mine tied in with this. I'm a servant to the movement, and there's no arrogance about me involved in this at all. I just want to see our children's futures guaranteed, that they are going to be free and able to make decisions about what they want in their bodies and what they don't want, because this government is overreaching, it's destroying democracy, and we need to ask some serious questions, and we need to get ourselves protected as soon as we can. And unfortunately, the only way that looks like it's going to happen is if we get rid of this government and put a democracy-based government back in its place. That will fix up the constitutional gaps and the constitutional failings of this country, and work from within the House of Parliament to fix it up for all free thinking and free New Zealanders. So with that, I'll say po Māori e, have a good night, be safe, stay warm, and I'll see you tomorrow. Kia ora tātou, good night.